This is how a narcissist weaponizes sex in a relationship. Narcissists often use sex as a weapon of control. They won't just use it to exert power over you. They'll do real damage to your psyche as well. Welcome. The strategies used by narcissists will be the topic of today's video. In your own words, please describe what it means to you to be a survivor of sexual violence and how this experience has changed you. You can make sure you don't miss any of my future uploads by subscribing to my channel and activating the bell notification. I've witnessed narcissists often put on an aura of fakeness. Therefore, fake intimacy describes this situation. There is sexual activity, to be sure, but no real connection between the partners. The sexual content is entertaining, but ultimately forgettable. Besides the sexual act itself, it has minimal significance. Only you could say for sure if your sexual contact with this person was the beginning of a romantic relationship. Nothing like this actually exists in the narcissist world. To fully grasp the impact of sexual trauma and how a narcissist uses sex as a weapon, it is essential to have a firm grasp of the significance of sexual intimacy in a healthy relationship. Physical attraction isn't the only way that sexual intimacy benefits a couple's relationship. The increased emotional connection helps them understand each other better. Because of each other, they are eventually able to accept who they are. The two people involved experience a deepening of their connection and a sense of mutual satisfaction as a result. I hope my arguments have convinced you of the importance of sexual closeness in relationships. If one partner lacks it or is unable to provide it, it can have a devastating effect on the relationship. Let us now make an effort to understand the narcissist, narcissism, and the asymmetry and abnormality of the narcissist's sex life. The narcissist's sexual interactions with strangers on the street can be used as a weapon. That's why there are 5 sex rituals and 5 sex applications involved in making this a deadly weapon. To begin, they put sex behind all other priorities in life. Even at the beginning of a relationship, some narcissists are able to arouse a great deal of sexual interest. For a while, when you're in the midst of a love-bombing phase of your relationship, you could think you're having the finest sex of your life. When a narcissist starts treating you like trash, he or she may also stop having sexual relations with you. Put otherwise, the sexual tension between you two has completely dissipated. Your senses have been completely numbed. There's a drop in volume, and you're worried about what that could mean. Negative thoughts about your value, attractiveness, and physical appearance could have a long-lasting impact on your sense of self-worth. When they stop communicating with you, the negative self-talk you formed as a result of your character flaws, their gaslighting, and their manipulation just grows stronger. Your nostalgia for the intimacy you shared with them in the beginning grows in direct proportion to your growing sense of isolation. Relationships are based on more than simply physical attraction. They must also have deep emotional links. Depreciation occurs when something loses value over time. You pursue them while simultaneously making attempts to enhance yourself. More compromises are given in the hopes that balance will be restored, or at least that you will once again recognize this person as the one you initially met. The sexual connection and closeness you enjoy with a narcissist heighten the perceived intensity of sexual experiences, which is how sex is weaponized. In addition, you give it a lot more importance than it actually has. Why? Since the narcissist defines intimacy as the experience of a sexual encounter, it is only after having one with them that you will feel like you have a connection with them again. If you're in a relationship with a narcissist, they'll exploit the fact that you're starting to feel normal, again as a weapon, when you start to want more of their attention. That whole sex junkie and sexually addicted thing. Therefore, you must consider the brain harm, psychological damage, and addiction procedure at play here. Sexual interaction essentially takes over the regulatory job of the nervous system, allowing for the experience of shame. Narcissists are not paying enough focus on you. From you, they hand out. They don't supply it to you, and it makes you feel even more split apart. At the end of the day, the sexual connection is all that remains of the connection, the definition of connection, and the feeling of connection, and this has a profound effect on your identity. If this is the case, they will use their superior position to manipulate you into engaging in undesirable behavior. Once you've built up this level of trust and dependence, all you want is some small sign that they're still interested in you or willing to assist you so that you can rest easy and spare yourself the pain of being abandoned. Weird requests are being made of you. You'll need to provide them with images of yourself in your undies. They create a horrific relationship based on sex by repeatedly exposing you to sexual abuse that you would never accept in a healthy relationship. What I mean by weird stuff is probably not completely foreign to you. Creating visual media and sharing it on social media platforms. It's hard to fathom how a relationship can wind up like this. The changes in your personality gradually get worse. Feelings of self-blame creeping in. An emotional and mental separation from one's own self is happening here. The low points you've reached aren't indicative of who you really are. When compared to their thinking, yours is distinct. This extreme form of sex goes beyond the usual and can inflict great psychological and traumatic injury, since it forces you to act in ways you wouldn't otherwise, or in the narcissist's absence. Let us once again consider the suspended sanctions. It could be withheld as punishment by a narcissist. Consider the possibility that you have offended their narcissistic ego with your remarks, or that they have asked you to do something you aren't capable of. How do they punish you exactly? They might refuse to give it to you without much convincing if the attachment they made with you was based on sexual dependence or sexual trauma. They're happy with the results in the end. Inflicting suffering on another person might provide the narcissist with a renewed feeling of control. The sexual relationship appears to be somewhat mechanical upon closer inspection. At first, there may have been some passionate exchanges, but now it just seems like they're going through the motions when they have sex. They become energized by your positive feedback and reaction to their shows. If they know you'll be there for them regardless of how they treat you, sexually or otherwise, they start to treat you like a pool of flesh to be used whatever they like. If someone has changed your way of thinking to serve their own needs at the expense of your own, you wouldn't dare to question why. Because you have been persuaded to believe that, at least I get this, or at least they do this, you have been emotionally and cognitively trained to accept this behavior. Since your mind is so adept at exaggerating, you might convince yourself things like, well, they have sex with me, which means they're still linked to me, or at least I get to have sex with them. Right there, you can see the mental gymnastics at work. For this reason, I made clear in the video's intro that SexCap may do more than just exert overt control on its user. An indication of the trauma you suffered throughout your time of narcissistic abuse may be a renewed yearning for sexual intimacy. You should know that you don't have to feel ashamed. You can't help it. That's how your brain works. It was your sexual life that guided you. It's possible that this is what triggered your traumatic experience. And gradually, as you acquire insight into the narcissist's genuine character and personality, your brain will change, your biochemistry will change, and you will essentially change and let go. Please leave your feedback and questions in the comments section if you found this video to be informative. Till we meet again, we may continue our mending. Enjoy your day.